Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt186. Today I'm taking a look at the Redragon M810 Pro, also known as the Taipan, not to be confused with Razer's Taipan, but Redragon's Taipan. The mouse feels like a large, hefty power player for big hands and those desiring a little bit more weight. If you have small hands, however, or desire lightweight FPS mice, I would say you may want to pass on this one because it's definitely a little heavier, it's definitely a little bigger. As you can see, it weighs in at 114 grams. The mouse comes with a generously long braided cable. It connects via USB Type-C in the front to USB Type-A. It can be used in wired mode or 2.4 GHz mode, and the 2.4 GHz dongle can be stored in a compartment underneath the mouse. The design is very comfortable. It's got plastic grips on either side to help with, gripping the mouse. The thumb rest on the left side of the mouse is actually super comfortable as well. Just above that thumb rest are the forward and back buttons, and the forward button is textured, which makes quick decision making easy to know which button you're on. Push-up depression is great on those switches as well. The mouse uses the Pixart 3325 sensor and Huano switches. I don't know which Huano switches they use, but they do use Huano switches. Really quickly, this is what the Huano switches sound like. On the mouse I have, it almost feels like it's a little bit sticky, and I actually don't know if it's by design or not. This might be the first time I've used these switches, or at least that I'm aware that I've used these switches. The left click feels intentionally resistant, but surprisingly accurate as far as depression and actuation. I don't feel like it gets stuck to the point where I miss, it just feels almost like it requires a heavy click to depress. The scroll wheel bumps to the right, but not to the left. When I do bump it to the left, it just kind of feels a little more resistant to scroll, and I'm not sure if maybe that's by design also. The wheel is a notched wheel with tactile steps when you scroll. The sensor is surprisingly accurate, and in my testing with liftoff and snapping, I have no major issues. When doing liftoff, it jitters a little bit, but that's somewhat to be expected for the most part. It stops tracking at a relatively low distance and stays steady in a reasonable area. It's not going all over the screen crazily. The DPI by default can be configured by the up-down buttons on the back of the mouse behind the scroll wheel. The small left button is pre-configured as a double-click button. Every button on this mouse, minus the mode button on the very bottom of the mouse, which swaps your profile modes, is able to be reprogrammed to something else. This one kind of surprised me a little bit. Not that RGB really has anything to do with how you play, but the lighting in this mouse was somewhat a little lackluster for Redragon. There's one single zone, not counting the scroll wheel, which you can't really change unless you assign a preset color to it. Or I guess you could modify and make your own color there, but it'll be a static color. And that one zone lighting really only features a couple different settings that you can go through. One good thing I will say about it is it has a quick sleep mode, so when you're not using the mouse, it goes to sleep relatively quickly, and this helps to save battery life on the mouse, which is definitely a good thing. The software offers the menu basics, from reassigning buttons with quick selections to allowing you to add macros and assign them to different buttons. You can also easily adjust polling up to 1,000 and DPI up to 10,000 if you're just super crazy about not being able to find your cursor anywhere on your screen. Overall, it's a very satisfying, well-rounded mouse that cuts right down the middle and has a few unique features, either by design or by defect. I'm not really sure, but it works for me as neat and different. It definitely feels like a different mouse experience. I don't know if I love it 100%, but it's definitely interesting. And I would say probably because of the thicker depression to actuation on that left click especially, jitter clicking may be a more different experience than what you're used to if you're somebody that does jitter clicking and doesn't mind wrist damage. The mouse overall is a solid performer. It has a large size and a heavy weight, so again, if you're not really looking for those larger sized mice with the heavier weights and you're looking for something a little more smaller, lightweight, something that's easier to claw grip, this might not be for you, but for the most part, it's a pretty nice feeling mouse. Guys, I hope this was somewhat helpful and useful to you. I'll see you guys in the next video I do. You have a great day, night, whatever it is.